The Oak Creek Band means a lot to this community, both musically, culturally. It brings a whole spirit to the community where other folks can enjoy the music that we create, and also it's a way to create a better person within all of our students, thus transferring to the Oak Creek community, making the Oak Creek community better people overall.
Band taught me that if you don't like it, there's the door. We all wanted to be there, and if you really didn't want to be there, then Mr. K said, there's the door. It taught me that working in big groups can bring big results. There's a lot of people in there that we liked, that we didn't like, but we were all a big family whether we liked it or not, so we had to just deal with each other. So band taught me a lot. I was in band for 4 years, so obviously I liked some part of it.
Marching band teaches a lot of things, primarily teamwork. There's a lot of bonding, teaches a lot of responsibility because there is a lot of traveling involved and a lot of outside of the school day practices. So the students are really responsible for making sure they're in the right place at the right time a lot of times. And they really have to be able to focus for long periods of time and make a huge commitment to what we're doing and be able to work together toward a common goal for long periods of time.
Band helped a lot with time management, not only because during the fall I had cross country also, so I'd have school, cross country, and band, so some nights I wouldn't be getting home till about 9 o'clock, but also just in how he ran rehearsal, or how they ran rehearsal, he and Miss Fuchs, because they were very timely about things, and they made sure that they had a schedule laid out and they wanted to stick to it in order to make sure we got everything done that we needed to during the day. So it helped me quite a bit with time management.
Band members were kind of like my family, so I just learned to be more outgoing, learned to work as a teammate and by myself. There was kind of like a theme that marching band was like a big puzzle, and that I was one piece of the puzzle working on like making it a whole. It taught me time management. Obviously, like the band camp and marching band season, you have to figure out how to do homework and practice, so it taught me time management. And it also told me like how to work hard towards a goal, and also how to march. I was really bad at it at first, but I became like one of the best marchers by my senior year. And it showed me kind of how to be a teacher too, so when I became a senior, I was the one doing the teaching instead of the learning.
We all wear the same uniforms, we all do our hair the same way, and that just kind of goes to show you how, you know, everybody's a little bit different, but at the same time, we're all one unit and we need to work together to get the job done.
The inspiration for the show was really the beautiful music of Puccini, the Italian opera composer. And I think to a lot of people, they would find that strange place to go for music for a marching band show, because so much of it is singing. But I fell in love with some of these melodies and just the way that Puccini wrote, and I thought that there would be enough music that would be suitable for a marching band to do a show that really had this kind of passionate but lyrical sound to it. And so I listened to a whole lot of stuff and picked some of the best moments I thought that would work for a marching band show. Well, you know, I got an email out of the blue from him one day, and didn't know him at all, never heard of the Oak Creek Band or anything. But it was such a nice email, and he was writing to tell me how much he liked the music that I wrote, and how much he liked the way the band sounded when they played things that I had written. And he asked me if I would meet with him and the staff at an upcoming band directors convention in Chicago, and I said sure, I would be glad to. And as it turned out, we did meet one morning over coffee with the staff and him and myself, and he just wanted to express how much he appreciated the music that I had written. And that was only one of 2 times that I ever was with him, actually. The second time was when the band came through my hometown, Nashville, Tennessee, and they were on tour, and he called and asked me to join him and the band for dinner downtown, which I did, and then got to meet a lot of the players and speak to them and just visit a little bit. So really, those were the 2, other than a few more emails, those were the 2 occasions that I actually got to be with him.
Okay, good evening. I already said that. I can skip that part. I already thanked you for being here, too. This night marks the completion of a 2.5-year quest to properly honor a man who gave selflessly to this band and all the people involved with it. At the time of Mr. K's passing, many contributions were made to a music memorial fund with the idea of commissioning a concert band piece in his honor. There was no question about who I would ask to write a memorial piece for Mr. K. Jay Dawson was the only answer. You see, Mr. K adored Jay's music. Whether it was concert, marching, or pep band, Mr. K only ever said one thing. Jay Dawson makes the Oak Creek High School Band sound like the Oak Creek High School Band. That's pretty good, eh? I think that's pretty good. Throughout the years, he chose many pieces for the band that were either composed or arranged by Jay. I will never forget the day that Mr. K finally worked up the courage to email Jay for the first time. He pored over that email, making sure he used just the right words to express to this stranger how much he loved his music and what an honor it would be to meet him or have the opportunity to play something new that Jay might have in the hopper. That carefully composed email was the beginning of a unique and wonderful bond between Jay Dawson and the Oak Creek High School Band. When I first asked Jay about writing a memorial piece for Mr. K, he was characteristically humble and gracious. My original request was for a concert piece. Then some time passed without much glimmer of creative inspiration. You can't rush these things. Then last November, Jay emailed me about an opera show that he had been working on for the upcoming marching season. I told him how Mr. K and I had wanted to do an opera show for years, but we had little success finding one. We fell in love with the music immediately, and suddenly I was driving in the car one day and it fell out of the sky. The commission shouldn't be a concert piece at all. It shouldn't just be one concert piece. It should be an entire marching band show, and it should be this show. This was his favorite time of the year, and Jay's marching band music was always his favorite. There would be multiple performances and huge audiences. Bob Buckner could write the drill, which was something Gary was always very proud of. We could include many of his little trademarks within the show, which we have. There would be so much more parent and staff involvement. Another thing he was always passionate about. The seniors, the last class of students he taught, their last marching show would be his show. And finally, his daughter, Katie. Her first show as a member of the Oak Creek Marching Knights, something he talked about and looked forward to since the day she was born. Her first show would be his show. It was perfect. Now, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you someone who's held very close to the heart of the Oak Creek High School Band. He's largely responsible for the fantastic production you're here to see tonight. He's an accomplished band director, composer, arranger, and publisher, and someone I am most honored to call a friend, Mr. Jay Dawson.
Thank you very much. Yes, I did get an email from a band director out of the blue a few years ago. I'd never met. And he asked if I could meet with him and his staff at an upcoming band directors convention, just have a cup of coffee, and I said, sure. And so we did, and I wondered, what does this guy really want? And really all he wanted was to tell me that he appreciated the music that I wrote, and it meant so much to me. And that, yes, that was the beginning of a short but very great relationship. And the second time, after meeting in Chicago at this convention, a year or so later, I got another call from Gary Cottenberg, and he said, you know, we're coming through your hometown, Nashville, Tennessee, and we want you to join us for dinner at the Wild Horse Saloon. And I can imagine those of you that are parents of kids in the band that can visualize going on trips and having your kids taken to a place called the Wild Horse Saloon. But it's really quite a tame place, and it is in Nashville, Tennessee. And it was a lovely dinner, and I had a chance to speak to the band and just enjoy being with them that evening. Those were the two occasions that I was able to be with Gary and Amy and the band. When you write arrangements and music for school bands, you're lucky if you have bands around the country that play this music. But if that's as far as your luck goes, you never really get to meet the people. You never most of the time, get to meet the director or the students. I'm very lucky. This has been a wonderful weekend, and it's been such a privilege to be invited to come up. Got in yesterday evening, and this morning we had a rehearsal. It's so much fun out here. The weather was nice. Had a chance to hear the show and work on some things. Just have a lot of fun with the students. The thing that just really amazes me is that right here at Oak Creek High School, this is the way high school bands ought to be. This is such an amazing family here, an amazing group of parents who obviously work so hard to support what this band does. Such an amazing, dedicated staff that works with students. And such an amazing group of students who are so open and ready to receive anything that you have to share with them. And it's just, it's a perfect situation. It makes me realize all over again why having the experience of playing in band is something that you will carry with you for the rest of your life. Those may be some of the best memories that you'll have your entire life. I know for myself, my band experience was exactly like that. I wouldn't trade anything for the experiences that I had coming through school band and getting to enjoy the music and the camaraderie and the growing up process and the sense of responsibility and the sense of commitment to each other that makes makes you really excel, makes you want to show up, play your best, because the other guys in your section, you don't want to let them down. You don't want to let anybody else down in the band. What a great learning experience and what a great life lesson. And I just congratulate each one of you, not to mention the fact that I am just amazed at how many people are here tonight and there's no football game. That is incredible. All right, I've been asked to make a couple of presentations, a couple of very nice mementos of this evening, and I'd like for Katie to come forward, please. And I'd like to read this Christine, if you'd like to come down too, I'd love for you to, but I realize you're up in the stands somewhere. But I would like to read this, A Night at the Opera. Special encore performance, Saturday, October 25th, 2008. And this is very well done. Cast, the composer is Giacomo Puccini, the great Italian opera composer. Arrangers, Jay Dawson and David Reeves. Performers, the 2008 Oak Creek High School Marching Knights. Directors, Amy Fuchs and Guy Gregg. Produced in loving memory of Mr. K, Gary P. Kaltenberg, Director of Bands, 1988 through 2006. The Oak Creek Marching Band's 2008 show was commissioned in honor of Gary Kaltenberg. A Night at the Opera was specially arranged by Jay Dawson and David Reeves, with drill written by Bob Buckner. This very special encore performance included the last class of students that Mr. K taught, as well as his daughter Katie as a freshman trumpet player in the band. And this is the part that I like. Commissioned by the members, families, friends, and staff of the Oak Creek High School Band. Presented to Christine and Katie Kaltenberg, October 25th, 2008.
I just want to say thank you to everybody that has kept this band going the way that my husband would be proud of, the way that it was when he was here. And I just don't know what to say besides thank you.
And the field directors, if you'd come over, I've got a presentation for the band. Basically reads the same thing, so I won't reread all of it, except for this part, which just, as I said, this says so much about the sense of community here and the sense of family. Commissioned by the members, families, friends, and staff of the Oak Creek High School Band. Ladies.
Hold a fast one on Jay. I have one for him. I didn't tell him about that. Haha. It's
also the press release. It looks familiar to most of you, and it says, presented to Jay Dawson with very special thanks from the Oak Creek High School Band, October 25th, 2008. At this time, I'd like to share a special letter sent to us by our drill writer, Bob Buckner. Although he couldn't make it here in person, he was compelled to send a message to share with everyone tonight. Dear Amy, I'm not sure how Gary Cottenberg found me, but I'm truly thankful that our lives intersected. Gary had an interest in marching band that brought us together, but it was a combination of other things that made him the person he was. As I think back to many of the conversations that we had regarding the creative and business parts of our work together, there are some very important things that stand out to me. The first is family. It was a part of just about every conversation that we ever had. He always asked about Donna, my wife, and had things to share about his family. One of the things that struck me about his death was just how much his family must miss him. Good educators are always hard to come by, but I think good educators who choose to be band directors are even more rare. Gary had a passion for music that he wanted to share with young people. A few years ago, he invited me to meet the band and work with them on a trip in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. That was the same trip that we met you, Jay. His pride in his students was unmistaken, as was the trust he placed in them. Being an educator gave him the opportunity to pass on to young people the things that he was passionate about. Many, if not all, of his former students will often think of Mr. Cottenberg when they think of or hear music. I considered Gary a friend. He was honest in his dealings, and I knew that I could always count on his word. It was apparent that those who worked with him felt the same way. I hope that all who have gathered to celebrate Gary's life will take pride in having known him as a talented musician, a dedicated educator, and a true friend. Sincerely, Bob Buckner. Now I'd like to introduce Alyssa Guzikowski and Autumn Meyer, who will be reading an essay they composed together about the impact that Mr. K had on their lives.
Yeah, right here. Okay. Okay. In every conceivable manner, the family is linked to our past, bridged to our future. Up until freshman year, I would have taken that quote by Alex Haley as a way to view family with whom I grew up. That was the only family I knew. However, on January 21st, 2006, my eyes opened. Our band director, Gary Cottenberg, whom we all saw as a father, died suddenly of a heart attack. At first, it did not register. Surely, this must have been some cruel joke. That first Monday coming back to school, no one knew what to expect. Instead of going to homeroom, we all went straight to the band room. Everyone grieved a different way, but all had tears fill their eyes. Some shared stories of their fondest memories of Mr. K and laughter, while others looked for a shoulder to cry on. From then on, everything we did for him. At that moment, I realized that band was so much more. I realized I had a second family, a family that was going to help me cross that bridge to my future. Gary Cottenberg was not just a band director. He was nothing short of a self-sacrificing man who impacted each and every student that ever walked through his door. He was always pushing us to give 120% and taught us the importance of never giving up. He proved that through example. He started with a group of merely 50 students, and after only 18 years, that number multiplied to over 190.
He was always up in the office. We didn't see him much, yet somehow he had the biggest impact on our band. He would walk around with those tennis shoes that were so clean they almost glowed, and that jean jacket slung over his shoulder like he didn't have a care in the world. He showed us excitement about our new uniforms when he explained how to hang them properly and take care of them. He accidentally dropped one of the new helmets and jokingly told us not to follow his example. We traveled to competitions in coach buses because we had to arrive in style. The first one had to be red, just for him. He loved that red bus. After every competition, you could always tell how proud he was of us, no matter what our scores had been. The Festival of Band concert was his favorite. It included all band members from 5th through 12th grade. Each grade played an individual piece to show their progress throughout the years, but several combined pieces were always performed to demonstrate how music can bring people together, no matter their age. He explained how all the little 5th graders looked up to us and admired our cool uniforms. We had to make them love being in band. We had to make them love music. Mr. K left us with several life lessons. 1, cleanliness is next to godliness. Pick up what you've taken out. If you spill, clean it up.
2, be punctual. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. If you're late, you're in trouble.
3, plan ahead.
4, pay attention to detail.
5, give back.
6, show integrity. Do the right thing, not the easy thing.
7, laugh. Don't tip your helmet up so it's hanging off your head. You look like you're selling salt.
8, do your best always.
9, have pride.
10, be selfless.
Mr. K was only in our lives for a short time, but he still managed to change us forever.
Compassion, determination, leadership, commitment, love, and strength are things because of him that we will always take with us. The seniors are the last group to have Gary Conberg as a teacher, a mentor, and a father. We all try our best to keep stories and lessons of him going, but it gets harder every year as new freshmen walk through that door. I guess we consider ourselves lucky that we got to know the great man he was. Although he is gone, we will always still have his life lessons and stories.
I hope that I can leave an impact on someone's life as he has made on mine. I plan to keep his values going by becoming a music teacher. I want to share the experience I have had with other kids and make them love music the way he did. Families are the compass that guides us. They are the inspiration to reach great heights and our comfort when life occasionally falters.
I know you're dying to see the show, and we're almost done, I promise. But before they go out there, I just have to tell you a few little things to enhance your enjoyment. How's that sound? Does that sound good? Okay. Night at the Opera is a show in 4 parts. The show begins with Katie, his daughter, placing a rose on the center podium and releasing a single balloon. These are meant to symbolize Mr. K's spirit, a piece with us, and a piece watching over us throughout the show. The first song begins with only a few players, just as he began the Oak Creek High School Band. Gradually, more and more members join in until everyone is incorporated at the highest point in the song. The piece ends as it began, with only a few players. Again, this is meant to symbolize the progression of the band and the completion of a chapter in our history. The show continues with Act 3 from Madame Butterfly, followed by Musetta's Waltz from La Boheme. The final number is comprised of various elements from the opera Turandot. This show incorporates many classic Mr. K moments. Several of the visual design concepts and musical interpretations reflect the style and effect that he often incorporated into the marching shows throughout the years. The most poignant of these is the company front toward the end of the show, during which the band plays an excerpt of Nessun Dorma, one of opera's most famous arias and a tune that Mr. K always hoped to have the band play in a marching show. In addition, the seniors have planned a special tribute at the end of this, their very last show as an Oak Creek Marching Night. As the band is marching off the field, you will notice the seniors gather at center field. At that time, they will form a circle and join hands to observe a moment of silence. Then, in a universal marching band tradition, they will remove their shoes and leave them on the field as a final expression of respect and gratitude for Mr. K. After the show, please make sure that you join us in the new gym, which is where we started tonight. We have a very special video presentation that highlights 20 years of the Oak Creek High School Band history. You really want to see it, and the easiest way for you to do that is make sure that you just go right up alongside the park and go back in through the cafeteria, and you can just cut through that way. You don't have to do all those stairs to get up, okay? But please do make sure that you join us for that, because it's really great. And thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the show.
This year, the Oak Creek High School Marching Knights enter their 20th season in their continued pursuit of musical excellence and character development. This fall, the band will represent Oak Creek at 6 contests throughout Wisconsin and Illinois. The 195-member Marching Knights encompass all students in the Oak Creek High School Band program, grades 9 through 12. Tonight, the Oak Creek High School Marching Knights proudly present A Night at the Opera, featuring the music of Giacomo Puccini. This production was commissioned as a memorial to Gary Kautenberg, director of bands at Oak Creek High School from 1988 to 2006. The show was specially arranged by Jay Dawson and David Reeves upon request of the directors, members, families, and friends of the Oak Creek Marching Knights. The Marching Knights are extremely proud to have the opportunity to premiere this very special show in loving memory of Mr. K. Field directors are Alyssa Guzikowski, Kaylee Singer, and Megan Segali. Color guard captains are Autumn Meyer, Robin Poulter, and Alyssa Kopecki. Arrangers, Jay Dawson and David Reeves. Drill designer, Bob Buckner. Percussion, Jeff LeMay, Tom Sorensen, and Paul Westfall. Color guard, Anna Dorman, Nada Midich, Michelle Toman, and Barbara Jean. Consultants, Chuck Sable, Peter Roth, Marissa Shane, Katie Heidke, and Brian Bratz. The band is under the direction of Miss Amy Fuchs and Mr. Guy Gregg. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Oak Creek High School Marching Knights.
I see trees are green and red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed days, the dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.